Let's hear from our race winner for today's 40th annual GoBowlingcom 400 NASCAR Sprint Cup Series race here at Pocono Raceway. And our race winner is Kasey Kahne. He drove the number 5 Farmers Insurance Chevrolet for Hendrick Motorsports. It's Kasey's 16th career NASCAR Sprint Cup Series win, his second victory in 2013, and his second win at Pocono. Kasey now is 8th in points in the current championship point standings. However, he's got 2 all-important victories now heading into, as we go, 5 races to go before we set the chase field. Congratulations, Kasey. Certainly outstanding race down the stretch with you and your teammate, Jeff Gordon. Maybe just talk about that final part of that race there, that last restart. Let's go back to the restart before that. You had the lead. Caution came out. Gordon took the lead. Maybe just kind of go back over that for us, because that was some really good racing.
Yeah, I felt like we had our Farmers Insurance Chevy was the best car. Kenny called a great race with strategy and kept me in the front the whole time. Once we got there, we started 18th, so we had a little ways to go, but we were gaining on the leaders from the time the race went green off of everything I could see with markers and things. But yeah, when the caution came out, we had a pretty big lead, and I knew Jeff was going to be tough. I felt like he was, beating me on restarts a little bit. I always struggle on them. I need to work on that, just keep getting better with my starts. But he got a great start. He was on my left rear off of turn 1 and was able to kind of side draft me down the backstretch and just stayed under me, and he finally got by off of turn 3. So at that point, I just tried to stay with him, and we had 5 laps. So I thought I may get another opportunity to get by, but it was tough. It seemed like with him in clean air, it was going to take more than 5 laps. It was going to take more like 10 laps. And then the caution came out. And on that caution, I just, I knew there's 2 laps to go. It's whoever gets the lead, whoever gets clear, and is going to win the race. And I had some help from Kurt Busch pushing me down the front stretch, and I just drove into one as far as I felt I could, and got some speed, momentum down the back, and beat Jeff to turn 2. And that was kind of the race at that point. Once I cleared him getting into 2, and from there it was just don't make a mistake and try to run a quick lap on that last one.
Kenny Francis, congratulations on the win here today. You and Kasey Kahne certainly have teamed up over the years to turn in a lot of wins, but this has to be one of the more, I would think, gratifying wins that you all have put together.
Yeah, they're definitely all important, but this one was pretty special. Looking at all the crazy stuff that's happened to us over the summer. The past 8-10 weeks, we've had a lot of good race cars and didn't have much to show for it. So to come here and dominate the race and get the win in the end, that was pretty cool. So it was a really cool pass that he made, on that last restart. So we were all about to jump off the box when he did that. So. It's kind of nerve-wracking. You're sitting there racing your teammate, and you want them to have a good finish too. But we're at the end of the day, we're out for ourselves, and that I'm just thankful that we were able to get the win.
Take questions now. We'll start right here with Lee, and then we'll go to Jim.
Lee Spencer, Fox Sports. When you saw the extra caution come out, what was going through your mind? Because first of all, you got 3 guys behind you who are desperate for wins. Junior he's good in the point standings, but he still would like to win desperately. And then Jeff and Kurt that really need a victory to solidify their chase aspirations. I mean, what was going through your mind?
I knew that it would probably be 3 wide getting into turn 1, and down that front stretch, everybody gets such a good run, and the draft comes into play as you come up through the gears. So that would be it was just crucial getting into one and getting to the backstretch. And, it was, I was able to drive in. I had my braking and the way the car was set up, I could drive into 1 and into 2 really hard all day long. So I felt like if I got there and I was close to anyone, I could drive in as far or further than them. And that was what we were able to do. But it was, I knew I had my hands full because those guys they want to win just as bad as we do, and I needed one bad. I felt like our team did. We've been, like Kenny said, we've been really fast this whole season, especially through the summer months. Just things have happened, and we don't have much to show for. but today we finished it off and put a full race together.
Go ahead, Jim.
Jim Utter, Charlotte Observer, for Kasey and also for Kenny, talking about some of those issues. This race in June, you didn't even get to finish the first lap before you had to pull into the garage, and now this one we're in victory lane. If I remember correctly, in that race, you felt once you got the situation fixed that you were running really strong. So what did it feel like to be able to kind of capitalize on what you may have had in June?
Yeah, this was the same car. So Friday, we started practice similar to that and felt, really close to how I felt in June. And the track didn't change much, the tire didn't change. So it was, not having practice yesterday didn't bother me at all because I knew that we had put 45 minutes in on Friday and we're in a good spot. And then, so just preparation. The guys did a great job, Kenny and the whole team, bringing back the same car. And it was fast the first time we were here, and we were able to show how fast it was today.
Go over to the left, and then we'll go to Nate.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, Kenny.
that first
Okay.
race, it's we had that U-joint problem and went behind the wall. It took us about 50 laps to figure it all out and get it sorted back out. But we went out and ran that whole the rest of that race, and started off kind of easing around there, and then realized how fast the car was. It was after the race, it was amazing how many other crew chiefs and crew members and stuff came up to us over the next few weeks, and were like, "Wow, I can't believe how fast your car was." So it was cool to bring that same car back and actually win the race. That's it doesn't always happen that you come back the next time to Pocono and the setup works and all. Usually you're scrambling again. So just fortunate that we hit on such a good setup at the first event that transferred over.
Go ahead, far left.
Candace Smith, Drafting the Circuits. Kasey, this one's for you. A little bit more about the emotions of coming back to Pocono. As I heard in your post-race television interview, you mentioned Jason Leffler and another friend who'd been in the hospital. And, Eldora had happened a couple weeks ago. You've only had one break. Was a little bit emotional coming back. You had recalled leaving and hanging out with Jason. And just, your family, it seems, in the NASCAR community. Your job goes on and on. So was there some kind of poignant memories coming back here since June?
Well, I think there definitely is. I think that, this summer it's been tough on some racers, and, a lot of things have happened with people I know and different guys involved in racing. And Jason, I thought about it on my way up here on Friday. I was like, man, the last time I was here, he flew with me here and then flew back with me, and we it just me and him, and we spent a bunch of time together, and then that happened that Wednesday. So it was tough, and there's so many people that are good friends with Jason and knew him really well, so I just wanted to mention something about him. And then Gary Zeronian is a guy that when I moved to Indianapolis in '99, I met Gary, and we became really good friends, and I drove his Silver Crown car on and off for a few different years, and probably like 3 or 4 years. We won some races together, and he's just a great guy. He was at Indy with us. We had lunch. We spent Sunday together, and he was at the car before we took off of the race, and then after the race, he had a heart attack walking to his car. So he's been in Methodist all week, but he's recovering. So it was, I think it's just been a tough summer, and I wanted to mention some of that because a lot of my friends and things we feel the same way about those two guys. So it was, I just said something when I was, in that interview.
Over here to Nate, far right, and then to Al.
Nate Ryan, USA Today Sports. Kasey, on the second to last restart, you chose the outside, and Jeff Gordon passes you. And on the last restart, he chooses the inside. Did you have any regrets about maybe you should have chosen the inside on the second to last restart? And when he chose the inside, did you think, this is my second chance, and now it's going to come to me?
I thought Jeff would probably choose the inside because I knew he was good down there throughout the whole race. I'd restart on the inside early in the race and stuck with Keselowski until I cleared him. So I felt good about being down there, but to me, it was more about getting momentum off turn one. And when Jeff gave me the outside, I was pretty happy about that because I thought that may have, give me a chance, an opportunity to get back by him. And, it's tough, though. You go down the front stretch, everybody's pushing, and the air's working differently. The transmissions, the gear ratios are a little different. So everybody has a different run. And then once you get to turn one, if you miss your mark a little bit, you don't pick up the throttle. He hits it right. That's what he did to me on the start before. He just got off at turn 1 a little bit better than I did, and was able to get the lead. So it's all so close, and the competition, and I think my car and Jeff's on those restarts were really similar. So it was I don't know, it could have went either way, and I'm just glad I didn't give that one away, because I knew we had the best car, and if I didn't win the race today, I felt pretty bad about giving it away.
Is it getting tougher with double file restarts to know which lane to choose? It seems like it's becoming a
Yeah, because I don't know. I think everybody's cars you kind of have the spot where you want to be and what you're looking for. Jeff was tight, so he wanted to be on the white line and try to hook his tire on it. He was telling me after the race. But, you're thinking about whether it's going down the straightaway. Some tracks you have more grip on the inside or outside on the initial start. And then other tracks, once you get to the corner, you have more grip on the inside or outside. So just how do you play that? And, a lot of times the leader just is in control and can make that work. But with these long straightaways, it seems like this place is a little bit more difficult as a leader. I think everybody's just a little bit closer together on these starts, so it could go either way.
Go ahead, Al.
Yeah, Al Pearson, Motor Week. It doesn't matter, and we'll never know. Would you have caught Jeff without the last caution, or you were making up ground, but was it enough time, or do you even worry about that now?
Yeah, I don't know. I felt like that first lap I was right with him, and the second lap I was on him and got loose in the middle of 3, and he pulled me down the front stretch, and then I was reeling him back in, and we still had, I think, 3 to go or 2 to go. So we would have definitely had a shot. We had speed. I could move around, but to actually clear him and make the pass, I think it would have been really difficult. So I'm glad that second caution came out there and gave us another shot.
Back in the corner, Dustin, did you have a question?
Dustin Long, Motor Racing Network. Kasey, a couple things. Those restarts, obviously there's always a lot of hair-raising moments in the cars. Can you get a sense of what kind of hold-your-breath moments those restarts were, or any more so than what you guys go through a lot of race weekends at the end of the race? And can you also talk about just how the Kurt Busch pushing you, how that helped, and how that was such a factor for you on that last restart?
Yeah, I think the hair-raising spots are when somebody's pushing you and they can hook you a little bit. I think it happened with Newman and with Dale. Both times it got me kind of whipping right before I got to turn 1. So that'll get your attention, and then just trying to drive into turn 1 as far as you can and downshift to third and still make the corner, not, enter too hard and push your tires, but go as hard as you possibly can. So those are the spots that, to me, are interesting. And I think the further you get back in the pack where the airs, more guys have runs and things like that, it'll get 3 and 4 wide, and that's a tougher spot. When you're coming off the front row, it seems like you can enter the corner at least 2, about 2 wide, which isn't too bad. But yeah, Kurt pushing me was key. I mean, he could have, I don't know if he had a lot of places to go when he first got to me because we weren't to the line, so he had to push me. And at that point, he just, I got through the gears fine, and we just kind of hooked together like we were at Daytona and started making ground, and we were catching those guys all the way back, all the way to turn 1, and then drove up beside Jeff once I got there.
Bob?
Bob Parker, Sporting News. Kenny, I heard you tell Kasey near the end that he had a different second gear than what Jeff had. Can you talk about the decision to choose a certain gear? And then also, is that something that is common in all organizations? I mean, is that something that each team gets to choose, or would other organizations just say everybody's running the same gear?
I think it's pretty common that different drivers and different driving styles use a little bit different ratios. Everywhere I've been that's been multi-car teams, it's all been a little bit different. But here in particular, they NASCAR changed the rule for second gear for this particular race, and so I think there was a number of different people trying different philosophies. So that's the advantage of knowing, having your teammate, what he's got. So he knew that already. I just wanted to make sure he remembered.
Jeff knew what we had too, because he slowed down on that restart. So that would benefit him with the ratios, and I noticed that. I knew he was going to. But yeah, Jeff knew what was going on.
So yeah,
He said that he did. Yeah.
Did he? Yeah.
We no one really knew what to do, and with the lack of practice, we didn't really get a chance to do any restart simulations, which we were planning on doing. And here it's not like another, here you're allowed to change ratios through the weekend, so we had some opportunity to play with it if we'd had practice. So I think there was just some uncertainty with the rule change and wondering what the right answer was. And I think we picked the wrong answer, but luckily we got away with it.
Scott?
Scott Walsh from the Scranton Times Tribune for both Kasey and for Kenny. You got that all-important second win today as far as towards the chase. You talked about you haven't had anything anything to show for it the last couple of weeks. You probably thought you were a championship contender all along, but does this win maybe kind of signal to maybe some of the other people, hey, don't forget about us. We could make some noise if we make the chase.
Yeah, I feel like it does, because I think it gives myself confidence and gives the whole team confidence, Kenny and the pit crew guys. I mean, everybody that's part of it. So it gives us and it closes the gap. If we finish in the top 10, get into the chase, it will be closer to Matt and Jimmy, guys who already have 4 wins. So I think wins are key for sure. And then just for our points, I mean, the chase is what it's all about in NASCAR. I mean, you need to make it, and for the sponsors, for the teams, and we've been right there on the edge with kind of the way our summer went. So it was nice to get 2 wins, and it gives us much more hope, going in, and we'll just start a lot closer.
I think also it gives you a little more, flexibility to be able to take more risks in the upcoming races. You already got your 2 wins. It's a good chance you're going to make the chase either way. So now you can maybe take a little more risk where, well, if this doesn't work out, it could hurt bad. Where now you got something to fall back on now. So, there was a call today we had to make that was a little risky. That I thought, well, we'll just have to do it and see. It was one of those 2-tire stops, and it was, we couldn't quite get as much gas in it as we wanted, or if we did, we was going to take more time. So it definitely, having another win gives you some more opportunity to, play a little different strategy, or take a chance, or maybe take a chance on your setup before the race or something like that in the upcoming races. It was one of the yellow flag stops where we took 2 tires. It was, I don't remember, 2/3 of the way through the race or something.
Final question on the right. Back here, David's got one. Okay, we'll take this gentleman over here in the red shirt, and then we'll finish with David.
Kasey, I think we covered this when you were here in 2000, when you won in 2008 here, but I think you spent some time on some of the smaller tracks around here in a few years ago when you were just coming up. Can you talk about coming back here and what it means to you to win here? And also, can you just talk a little about the unpredictability of the races here? We had a very different race in June than we had here, and can you explain why these races are so crazy and varying differences?
Yeah, I felt like the track was really similar today to what it was in June. Not a lot of change in the racetrack and in the tire, the combination of the cars and things. So it was, the race may have played out a little different today, but I felt pretty similar to how I did in June. And then, I raced a lot in, Pennsylvania, raced sprint cars and midgets and things around here. And I lived in Tower City for like a month and a half one year, which was hard on me. That was a long time in Tower City, but I had a good roommate, Rick Hawk. I lived with him and his family, and so we had a lot going on, but it was cool. We Pennsylvania racing's tough. Like, all the sprint car racing is really hard, really difficult. The guys are on top of their game all the time, so it's a good spot for myself when I was in sprint cars to race and learn, and I felt like I made a lot of gains when I was racing around here.
Final question. Far left, David Newton. Go ahead.
Yeah, David Newton, ESPN.com. Both of you asked to answer this, please. The Hendrick cars the last 2 weeks in particular have been really, really strong. Our cars with Hendrick engines too. Is it more difficult or easier to close a gap or gain an advantage when you're trying to do it against your teammate versus another organization?
I think it's more difficult. I mean, them guys are hard to race. It's hard to beat Jimmy and Jeff and Dale, and the Stewart Haas cars are strong. They've been getting stronger every week for the past couple months. So, I mean, I don't know. What do you think?
I think it's more difficult. I mean, it's you have very similar cars and engines and all of that. So it's you can run those lap times and things if one of the other guys is beating you. But at the same time, when someone hits on something and it's working for them, it's tough, and that's Jimmy and Chad do the best job of that, each year, and I have a great team, Kenny and Keith and all the guys behind us, and I feel like we can run with them if we do everything right. And so it's we're just doing the best job we can and try to get to that point and have some confidence here when we enter the chase.